There's Adam in his bonneted Volvo. There's Sasha Lentz. Very smart yellow truck, very distinctive.
René Reinert there in the blue 77 MAN. He had a pretty bad time yesterday, didn't he, with damage in the first race and then a double penalty in the second, like that man, in fact, there Sasha Lentz got as well.
Yeah, damage all over, front left, front right, down the side, up the back.
So everybody goes pouring out onto the circuit. Jochen Hahn was the first driver out, and therefore he's going to do the first target time. But you now see what I meant about this crawl.
Yeah, it's very pedestrian, isn't it?
Isn't it ever? Part of it is to look after tyres. Part of it is to try and get some clear track space. So you sort of crawl along, try and stack everybody up behind, and then you go. But Norbert Kish wants to drop back as well, so he's not going to catch Hahn. Halm wants to do the same, so she doesn't catch anybody.
And Adam's slowing up the whole rest of the pack, really, really slowly. Albacetti behind, Lentz.
When you look at this, you realise that there's a lot more to it than first meets the eye, because again, as we've been discussing over the weekend, people sometimes do look down the nose at track racing, but it's a very serious competition. There's a lot of money being spent in this, a lot of tough competition, and the drivers take it very, very seriously. They've all got spotters that, because they're not allowed on the pit wall, they sit in the media centre looking at the timing screens, looking at the same TV pictures that we're all looking at, and giving their assessment and advice from afar. But you know, it is not just a case of get into your truck and drive around and hope for the best. It's all done very astutely, this.
Yeah, and you have to have tactics and timing, and look after your tyres, look after your brakes. The brakes are one of the most important things. So here's Hahn through the chicane, crawling along.
But look, we're nearly at 6.5 minutes, so they've spent nearly 4 minutes crawling around. They've not yet got onto a flying lap.
No.
And now Jochen Hahn accelerates away, so he gets to that final safety car line and goes for it. And it's got to be precise and it's got to be quick, but not too quick, as in he doesn't want to take too much out of the tyres, because he'll need to try and use them for 2 gun laps in Superpole if he gets through, which he wants to do.
Absolutely.
But this is a master of the art, multiple champion. Then number 2, Jochen Hahn, starts this first flying lap of Q2.
Neatly into the first corner, the Mercedes complex, very smooth.
Can he get a win? Can he get 2 wins out of today? The fans certainly hope so. But he was rather overshadowed by the redoubtable Gert Koerber, who, for all the success of yesterday, for all the success he's had in his career of truck racing, cut a rather lonely figure last night in the bar at the Dorient over the road. He was sat on his own with a glass of red wine, and nobody around him, but grinning from ear to ear. He'd had a good day, that was for sure.
Yeah.
That's Norbert Kish. That looks pretty quick, doesn't it?
Yeah.
So we'll
followed by Steffi.
Yeah. Winner yesterday. So we'll start to piece this together on sectors in a moment. There's Adam Lachko using all of the road. Turn 4 he's just come out of has been a regular part of the circuit this weekend, where track limit abuse has been a talking point.
Yeah.
Kish using all of the road. You'll see as the day goes on that little groove behind the curve in the AstroTurf gets deeper and deeper.
Deeper and deeper, yeah.
And that penalty marker has had a charmed life, hasn't it? It's,
certainly with the trucks. It's been the cars that took it out. And
so here's Hahn up towards the chicane, and although he's done the absolute best in the middle sector, Steffi Halm has done the best in the first. So remember, it's about...
the second.
And now the second, yeah, she cuts the beam. So it's not necessarily about being quickest, because you only count your time in this to get into the top 10. It's the time set from Superpole that really matters. But here is number 2, Jochen Hahn.
Through the Jaguar curve, into the paddock straight.
He'll break the beam on the timing line in a moment, and that will probably be the work done from Q1. 28.269 in the last sector means it's a 155.457, battered by Norbert Kish, and Steffi Halm goes even quicker.
Yeah.
So Steffi Halm is the fastest so far, 154.795. Adam Lachko goes up to second.
Wow.
But is that because he's quicker than Hahn, or because Hahn wasn't trying so much, is the difficulty? If you see what I mean? You know,
no, exactly.
Was that Adam Lachko's maximum? René Reinert goes quickest of all, 154.503.
That's good.
It's not a bad effort, is it?
Yeah, good effort. And Curzon following up. Looks a bit sedate, Curzon there.
Well, 4th on that lap, interestingly.
Yeah.
So he's in for the moment. Ryan Smith is in and Gert Körber is in. But now, look, the next wave of trucks are going to shuffle all of this around because Anthony Janiak goes 8th. Janiak pushes Ryan Smith out of the top 10.
Here comes Körber with his new windscreen.
That's right. Well, he's just been pushed out of it. He's down to 12th.
Yeah.
Brereton is out. Robino is out. Stefan Fass also missing the cut.
Goodness.
So some big names here need another lap, don't they?
Yeah. And there's Louis Ruenswell. Oliver Janes, he's been pretty quiet this weekend. There's Theo Calvert, followed by Terry Gibbon with his new engine rebuild.
Yeah, they had to fly parts out Friday evening to try and put him onto the grid.
That does show commitment, doesn't it?
That
really,
yeah.
Yeah.
Now, intriguingly, we've got 2.5 minutes to go, and guess who is 10th and therefore on the bubble? Jochen Hahn. So if Ryan Smith is still going for it, and he's not, sadly, Gert Körber might be, but if anybody were to suddenly improve and get into the top 10, it will be at the expense of Jochen Hahn. And if he were to get knocked out of Superpole and start in the second half of the grid, that would be something to watch.
Unthinkable.
Absolutely.
So he has to go for another lap.
Well, you'd have thought so, but he's
going very pedestrian.
He's building up to one, and he has got time to do it.
Yep.
But,
There's plenty of time. Well, not plenty, it's seconds. Enough.
Yeah. There's Smith and Körber, who you might anticipate should go quicker. Adam Lachko has bailed. He's in the pits, so his work here is done.
Okay.
But Ryan Smith is going for another time.
Yep.
And Jochen Hahn, I think, has stayed out as well. Where's Antonio Albafetti? He's 6th. He's all right. So he's coming
got
down
in.
the pit lane.
Yeah.
Norby Kish is in. Look.
Norby Kish is in. He's happy with his time.
Tell you one of the real stars of that first run was Jose Rodriguez, number 14, because he's put himself 3rd on the grid.
Yeah. Good effort by him.
Yeah. Reinhart's done. Kurzim is done. Steffi Halm is done.
Yeah, she'll be happy with that. Yeah.
So all eyes on this man now, Jochen Hahn. If he gets up the order, the one in the drop zone is going to be Lentz and then Janiak. So Ryan Smith is the other one to keep an eye to if he stays out. I think he has stayed out, Ryan Smith.
Didn't see him come in.
Yeah. Right, so first of all, we'll focus on Jochen Hahn. Here he comes. You can see the commitment being put in. Second generation racer. His father Conrad, a very rapid truck racer in the 80s and the 90s. And then when he retired, it was Jochen that stepped into the driver's seat, put down the spanners, and has won 4 titles. Behind him is Ryan Smith then. Ryan's doing every race this weekend. The 4 European races, the 4 British races. I'm sure if we found him a GT4 car, he'd have been in that as well.
Yeah, yeah. Oh, it's on it, smooth, it's good. Hands looking good.
So Jochen Hahn then doing a personal best in the first sector. Ryan Smith also a personal best in sector 1, but not as quick as Hahn. But if they can both get ahead of Lentz or Janiak, then things are going to shuffle again.
Yep.
So Jochen Hahn moving to Iveco after years with MAN, and then Mercedes prior to that, comes up towards the chicane. Ryan Smith behind him, Sasha Lentz in the background.
And Ryan Smith is catching him, so he's going quicker.
Yeah, Ryan has just done the absolute best in the middle sector. He specialises in the semi-reverse grid races, does Ryan. He's had a win already this season, 4 wins to this man, Jochen Hahn. So Jochen, he's already into Superpole, but what we're looking at here is can he improve and therefore consolidate the position, get him out of the drop zone.
So out of the Jaguar curves, down the paddock straight, about to break the beam.
And the lap does put him second fastest, 1:54.723.
Wow.
Ryan Smith goes third, 1:54.782. So Janiak misses out. And suddenly the one that's in jeopardy is Norbert Kish, because Kish is 10th. So if anybody else goes faster, over the timing line goes Stefan Fass, goes Thomas Robino. I think that's about your lot, but Norbert Kish just got in by 54 thousandths of a second. Oh, we're not done yet. Here comes Gert Körber, and here comes Anthony Janiak. So Körber is 12th, Janiak is 11th. These are the 2 that need to try and improve if they can. Körber does, but stays outside the 10. Janiak doesn't improve and stays outside the 10.
So we've got a first 10.
Shane Brereton goes through, goes quicker, but doesn't get into the top 10. 37, Terry Gibbon goes by, stays 21st. Behind him is Ollie Janes. Behind him is Evan Klein-Nagelvoort. So I think we're done. We've got our 10, but it was a bit touch and go for 1 or 2, wasn't it?
Yeah, that was a bit to the other line for Hahn there, I think.
And Norbert Kish will be breathing a sigh of relief. There, number 20 goes through. Theo Calve, the French teenager who was sitting his baccalaureate exams on Thursday and then dashed here to be a truck racer. And he stays 19th, doesn't get through, and in the background is Frankie Wojciech's truck. And that's not going to be an improver sufficiently, I fear, either. 17th.
No. And there's Ryan Smith with the repairs to the front, right, left of the cab.
Truck needed an energy drink, I think.
Yeah, white gaffer tape is wonderful, isn't it?
Yeah, absolutely. Where would motorsport be without gaffer tape? Trucks, cars, rally cars, you name it. But yes, it's not looking quite as pristine as once it did.
No.
But it's when you look at the trucks there, and you look at the almost aerodynamics at the front with the flared wheel arches, and you realise how far they've come.
Kind of built-in canards and things at the bottom.
But the days of these very spindly, rolling trucks from the early days of proper, virtually road-going, production-based trucks have long, long gone. But the sport's moved on.
I doubt that they share any part with a road-going truck. Right. Yes.
But they are still spectacular, and that is one thing that has not changed over the years. There have been some great characters in the sport. Ryan Smith is one of them, but they've come from all walks of life to racing truck racing. In the early days, they came from circuit racing. The very first truck Grand Prix at Donington had, for example, Martin Brundle making his return to motorsport after his accident in America that year, breaking his ankles. You had Steve Parrish, you had Barry Sheen on the grid, you had Willie Green, noted historic racer, who then made quite a career for himself driving the Silkeleen back works ERF. There was John Kent, who was a production sports car racer, and a load of hauliers, one of whom, Richard Walker, came to prominence by being a virtual unknown, but then second in that first Donington Truck Grand Prix. He inherited the win the following year at Silverstone after the rather dubious Gaudencio Mantova fled with the trophy. And the truck was impounded. He stopped. The long-winded story of this, if you don't know it, is that he won the British, it was then the multi-part truck Grand Prix, and stopped on the Hangar Straight on his slowing down lap, and the marshals and the scrutineers thought, that's a bit funny, what's going on here? Cab was tilted forward, and Mantova was sort of ferreting around, burning away some evidence of whatever it was that he'd managed to do to get more fuel in, or more boost. So the scrutineers impounded the truck. Mantova, by this stage, had been put in a course car and taken to the podium. And over the PA in the paddock came this call for the driver of truck number, whatever it was, to go to race control, and Mantova just scarpered and was never seen again. The truck was impounded. He broke back into the scrutineering bay overnight, got the truck out, because it was a working truck, it drove it home. And Richard Walker got the win, but never got the trophy, and Mantova was never seen a truck race again. So it was one of the more quirky stories. Andrew Marriott, who was involved in the organisation, will tell it far better than I do, this story, but it was kind of symptomatic at the time of a sport full of characters and trying to get some rules in. Yeah. But it still was a bit woolly. But yeah, Richard Walker got the win, but Mantova got the trophy. Got talked about nearly 30 years on. Yeah. And he got the trophy, as you say. We've just had Frankie Wojciech, who was again one of the pioneers of truck racing. He was involved in the early days. He's had a lap time cancelled for a penalty marker abuse, and therefore was 17th, but may well drop. Yeah, we didn't see that on the screen. No. So now we have 10 to go into Q2, as it were, into Superpole. And this time, I reckon they will all go for 2 runs. That was the format yesterday, wasn't it, really? Yeah. So those that missed the cut go into Park Fairmay. Ollie Jane's Freightliner through. Behind him, Irving Klein-Nagelbort. They go to the technical area. There's Han and Steffi. Yeah. And as ever, lots and lots of people starting to pour in. It's been an early start to the day. They've already had a warm-up session, these trucks, incidentally. We've had GT4 cars on track, but now the pit exit is open, and so Superpole gets underway. This to sort out the top 10 on the grid. And again, Jochen Hahn always manages to time this to perfection, doesn't he? That he's first out. Yeah, clear track in front of him. And so now Steffi Helm, you'll see, perhaps having a really slow lap to try and buy the clear track space ahead. Norbert Kish is third in the queue, ahead of René Reinert, ahead of Ryan Smith. Then there's a small gap to Sasha Lentz, who's also been a winner this season. Behind him is yesterday's race 1 winner, and indeed pole setter, don't forget, Antonio Albacete. Behind him is the ever-improving Jose Rodriguez. Then it is Andre Kurzim, and Adam Lachko is at the rear of this gaggle as they go out onto the circuit. And René Reinert doing this the other way, rather than letting the traffic go, he's hustling on straight away and trying to put himself at the front of the queue. And I'm not sure Jochen Hahn's going to like that, because that's not in Jochen's plan. No, he wanted a clear track. Yeah, exactly. But perhaps that is the underlying marker of René Reiner. I'm here to win today. I had a rotten day yesterday with damage and penalties. So he retired from the first race. With penalties applied, he was 13th. He got 2 overspeeding penalties. He was only 13th in the second race. A lot of smoke coming out of the truck, though.
Yeah.
So Reiner means business.
Maybe he's playing a psychological game to put pressure on Hahn.
Could be, actually. This is the corner at which Jochen Hahn went off yesterday. The hairpin, which has got a multitude of different names. The short link, the cut through, the hairpin. Turn 5, you call it what you will.
But then he had to go down the escape road and round and come back on. So
yeah.
He lost a lot of time and a lot of places.
And then he got a penalty, didn't he, in the end for overspeeding as well?
Yeah.
So that would have gone down like a knackered lift.
There was loads of overspeeding yesterday.
Yeah. So Stephanie Halm, who I think endeared herself to us yesterday at the end of the race with all the celebrations going on around Parc Fermé, and she'd done all the hugging and the kissing and then let up a fag. Which is not the thing you see from any racing driver.
Not PC, shall we say. Not
girl,
PC, no.
But she's a proper character, Steffi. And boy, can she drive a truck.
Yeah.
She came out of car racing, lots of experience of karts, and then into one-make saloon car racing, whether it was Alpha 147s or Minis or the VLN even she raced in for a time. But she's made a real name for herself in truck racing, taking over from Ellen Law.
Ellen Law, yeah. But 3 women on the podium yesterday, so that was good.
That's right, 1 in trucks, 2 in the GT4 60-minute race that we had. So René Reiner is going to be the one that leads the cavalry charge.
And now he's driving carefully.
He is, but look at the way that Hahn is, again, driving slowly, letting the traffic go.
Yeah. Ryan Smith.
Broke a track rod yesterday, didn't he?
Yeah. He just went straight off onto the grass and they had virtually no steering.
At that part of the circuit, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Right, so here we go then.
René's off.
Eyes down. Here comes René Reiner onto a flying lap. And straight away, we'll start to offer up the sector times to beat. They govern to 100 miles an hour, and they're reaching that on the end of the pit straight. Then it's hard on the brakes. Jochen Hahn goes through to start his flyer. You can see the countdown as Ryan Smith blasts over the timing line next in the queue, but Reiner looking smooth, looking quick.
Whoa, purple patch throughout for Reiner.
Well, no, that's the previous lap. And he was the first through the sectors, so inevitably he was the...
I've just seen the purple, yeah.
He was the least slow, I think, on that installation lap, but now he's about to come to the end of Sector 1. Up through the gears, down to the hairpin. It's when he comes out of the hairpin that he'll break the beam at the end of Sector 1. So Reiner on a mission here, turning his way through the hairpin. Tyres squeal, Goodyear rubber on which they all run. He's on the power, guns it out of the hairpin, up the curb. Not too much, in fairness.
Nice and smooth use.
Does a 56.8 within the first sector. Is Hahn going to go any quicker? The answer is yes, he does by 3/10. Jochen Hahn's on a mission.
He's on a mission, yeah.
Ryan Smith through ahead of Steffi Halm. The dark horse could be Antonio Albacete here.
Yeah, we haven't seen him yet.
No, he's keeping his powder dry, perhaps, at the moment, but he is in there fighting.
Here comes René. Oh, still on a mission.
So it's another purple sector in Sector 2, but inevitably so, as he's the first one through it. The question is whether Hahn is going to go quicker, and he does. So Jochen Hahn now does a 29.254, but Steffi Halm quicker by hundreds within that middle sector. It's going to be interesting, this, as we shuffle them into order. So Reiner will be at the top briefly. He comes out of the Jaguar curve, he goes over the timing line, and he does a 1:54.099. Here comes Jochen Hahn, who will go quicker, surely. And Jochen Hahn's time is quicker, 1:53.788. Ryan Smith is next. And then it's Steffi Halm behind him. Smith goes third. Where will Steffi Halm squeeze in as she goes third fastest, in fact, a 54.300.
Hahn's on a mission, isn't he?
He is, but Norbert Kish has gone second with a nice smooth lap, only a 10th back. Then it's Lentz, who goes fifth ahead of Smith. Then it's Albacete, who will do a time good enough for fourth. And a time in the 1:53s from Hahn and Kish, massively impressive. Very, very indeed. The team manager of number 1, Adam Lachko, to race control after the session. Interesting.
Ooh.
And also the team manager of number 3, Norbert Kish, to race control. Adam Lachko goes 5th, and behind him, Andre Kurzim goes 8th. And a 53 is the fastest ever truck racing lap around here.
I was going to say that. I thought that. It's
by some way as well.
Yeah. Well, there was 55s yesterday, wasn't it?
It felt this morning a little cooler, certainly more of a breeze. Whether that's having a positive effect, the drivers would attest. But we're not done yet, don't forget, because they get, if they wish, time for one more run. So this might be a cool-down lap, and then they can go for one more. So.
And the tarmac's cooler today. Yesterday I found out that the tarmac temperature went up to 52 degrees.
Crikey. It's a bit scary.
There's Rennie calmly coming through. He'll be pleased with that.
So, yeah, that puts him onto the second row of the grid. Is he going to have time for one more lap? Yes, he should do.
Yeah, there's time.
There's Ryan Smith behind him. Norbert Kish, I think, is going to go for one more, isn't he? Because he's just trying to keep the warmth up in the tyres. Jochen Hahn has let them all go, which is intriguing.
Maybe he's making clear space to have another run. Steffi Hahn.
There is time for one more run, as I say, but only just.
And there we have Albacete in the back there.
This is a little Iberian battle there, isn't it? The Spaniard and then the Portuguese driver, Jose Rodriguez, behind him.
Yeah.
Notice Sascha Lentz has become part of Reinert's team, Team Reinert Adventure.
Yeah.
There is Antonio Albacete, former touring car racer, former Formula 3000 racer, and Adam Lachko thinks you're going too slowly. I need to get through you lot.
Yeah.
Whoops.
Whoops. Don't crash.
Right, Reinert's going to have another go then. So
he's off.
The best that he has done already is a 54.0. He's got to find 3/10 to get onto terms with Jochen Hahn, and 3/10 actually is quite a margin.
Yeah, that's a lot for a truck round here.
Rene missed last season. He's come back into racing this year, so I'm not suggesting he's rusty, but Jochen Hahn has been a mainstay of the truck racing scene for a long time. Rene Reinert had to go off and just concentrate on his business last year, and has come back this season with just the one truck. It was a two-truck team prior to that, but now it's just him. So through he goes. These very distinctive Reinert blue colours that adorn lots of trucks that are parked trackside and plenty that are up and down the Autobahn every day.
Yeah.
Comes over the brow down towards the hairpin. We'll get the first sector offered up at the end of this lap. Jochen Hahn has just started another lap, incidentally, being chased by Adam Lachko. Behind him, behind Lachko, is Sascha Lentz. Right, here comes Reinert. A little bit sideways, but not too bad. And at the end of sector one, he's down on what he's done earlier.
Oh, shame.
Considerably down, actually, whereas Smith has done a personal best.
Wow.
Norbert Kish, absolute best in sector one.
Yes.
Now, Reinert there, looking as though he was trying a lot more. He seemed to be using a lot more real estate coming out of the Bilstein curve.
Using all the track.
Yeah, absolutely. So he's not done yet, that's for sure. Up towards the chicane now.
Ryan Smith pushing on in the back, looks fast. Kish.
Norbert Kish then here has done not the best in sector one anymore because Jochen Hahn has gone quicker still. Kish way up the curb there as we come to Reinert coming out of the Jaguar curve. So the flag is going to be out for the rest of them in about 7 seconds time. So Reinert escapes and goes up to second. That's a real shame, that lap. It's an improvement, but it started off slowly. It could have been better, I reckon. Ryan Smith goes through, doesn't improve. Norbert Kish goes through, and what does he do? Goes second, 1:53.804, back ahead of Reinert. Then over the timing line, it is Steffi Hahn. No improvement, and Jochen Hahn could go quicker again if he stays out to the end of the lap. Here he comes.
Here he comes.
A lot of curb being used by Jochen Hahn up to the beam, and the time he's already done is a 1:53.788, a 1:53.331. That's insane.
That's the fastest lap ever.
Blimey. Adam Lachko goes through and goes no quicker. Sascha Lentz behind him doesn't improve. What about Antonio Albacete? Goes second. Albacete, 4/10 back, but he's second on the grid. That's an outstanding lap by Jochen Hahn to be 4/10 of a second quicker on the second run.
Yeah.
And a 1:53.331. It almost makes you fearful that there was some overspeeding going on in there somewhere.
We haven't heard anything.
I don't mean that rudely about Jochen Hahn, but it's so much quicker than anybody else.
Yeah.
And it's such a good time anyway. The rest of them will be going, whoa, how did he do that?
Yeah. Well, good run by Albacete, though.
Absolutely right, getting himself up into the mix.
And then we'll be back to the old conundrum of who's going to get it at the first corner. That is a smart truck of Albacete's. I do like the red and white.
So yesterday's Superpole time was 1 minute 54.805 from Albacete, and that means that this morning Jochen Hahn has gone a second and a half quicker. That is extraordinary.
Yeah, that is extraordinary.
And that was with a lap, incidentally, that's had a middle sector slower than he'd done hitherto. So it was an absolute best, a slower middle, a personal best.
Yeah.
So arguably there was even more time to come.
Yeah.
Wow. I think the opposition will be pretty soul-destroyed after that.
Yes.
Well, there's René Reinert, who gave it his best shot. He ends up 4th. Ryan Smith 10th. Interesting session.
Yeah.
Adam Lachko, again,
he seemed to be pushing on a bit more this session. A bit more commitment there.
But he ends up only 5th.
Only 5th, yeah. There's Steffi.
Yesterday's winning team from the amalgamation of the two races was De Bull and Von Iveco. And there is Steffi Halm.
She's in 6th place.
Sasha Lentz ending up 7th. And Jochen Hahn, a mighty, mighty effort. His 4th pole position of the season. And much better conditions for this morning as far as the truck's engines are concerned. We're 8 degrees cooler now than Friday afternoon, so those cooler temperatures helping. But even so, that's a remarkable effort to go so much quicker than yesterday, and nearly half a second up on anybody else as well.
Yeah, the cooler temperatures help the turbos.
And you can see also in the background there how much of a breeze there is. The leaves moving quite a lot this morning.
Yeah. Still steam coming off of Jose's brakes there.
He's been a real find this year, Jose Rodriguez, because it's his first full season in the European Championship. It's being done on a budget, and yet he's consistently up within Superpole, consistently up in the top 10, off in the top 6 in races.
And personally getting faster and faster.
Yeah, indeed so. Absolutely right. So, our live stream is going to come to an end in a minute, and we'll be back at 10:25 with 3 races to look forward to. The Mittelrhein Cup, which is the British and German Championship. Then we will have the first of today's 2 European rounds, and then we'll have an hour of GT action as well. But for now, let's just confirm the way that we look at the end of Superpole. Jochen Hahn the quickest by nearly half a second from Antonio Albacete. Norbert Kisch 3rd from René Reinert, and Adam Lachko in the bonneted Freightliner. 6th, Steffi Halm ahead of Sasha Lentz and Andre Kurzim. Jose Rodriguez 9th, and Ryan Smith rounding out the top 10. So the ADAC Truck Grand Prix will be in for another action-packed day, and as I say, we will have the Mittelrhein Cup race. We'll be back live at 10:25 local time. It's 10 to 10, give or take, now. So we'll look forward to your company in around about half an hour's time or so for our first race of the day here at this 33rd International ADAC Truck Grand Prix.
See you then.
Haben wir insgesamt 4 verschiedene Marken unter den Top 10 aufgelistet hier im Qualifikationsfeld. Wir schauen uns auch natürlich noch die Plätze ab der 11. Position in Kürze an, denn das sind die Piloten, die aus nicht in das Top 10 Qualifying hineinfahren konnten. Die haben wir ja eben schon in aller Ruhe aufgelistet, und wir haben das Ganze hier oben gerade das Maßstab über die Bühne zu bringen. Und aktuell haben wir auch natürlich unsere Reisebusse, die sich auf die Strecke